Hi, everyone. Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets here with your weekly marijuana market update. Make sure you do subscribe to our YouTube channel and you get notified each and every time we post up a new video. I'd also encourage you to check out moneyandmarkets.com on our website. You can check out our proprietary stock power rating system and get the ratings of thousands of stocks. You'll see a breakdown of fundamental technical ratings that make up the overall rating. Just go to moneymarkets.com, and in the top right-hand corner of that website, you will see a search bar. You can type in ticker or company name, and then you'll be able to pull out its ranking, stock chart, fundamental data, any analysis we publish. It's all at your fingertips, and it is all free for you to use. Also, make sure build out your own watch list, track stock performance. You can do all that at moneyandmarkets.com. Now, today I'm going to respond to a viewer who emailed me about a particular cannabis stock that I've talked about a lot in the past. Henry emailed me recently to discuss Innovative Industrial Properties Incorporated, trades under the ticker IIPR. He said, I read your article regarding IIPR stock. It is very interesting. I'm impressed with IIPR's high growth rate and projected future growth trajectory, both on earnings and revenue, plus the 5% dividend. So I'm still holding the stock. However, I feel it's hard to understand why it's dropped so much in comparison with other industrial REITs, such as the benchmark ETF INDS, in which IIPR is one of its top holdings. INDS only dropped around 25% from its top in November 2021, while IIPR dropped 53% in the same period. Henry goes on to suggest broader pressures on the cannabis market and even potential legislation, foreshadowing a little bit, legislation giving cannabis companies access to traditional business banking services could lead to headwinds faced by IIPR. But Henry wasn't done there. About a day after he sent me the initial email, he followed up after finding an article about shareholder litigation, see, I was foreshadowing, against IIPR, suggesting that could be the reason for IIPR's deeper drop. They're all very good observations, and I really do appreciate your insight, Henry. I do want to get into IIPR a bit more and give you my take on the stock's recent pressure. So first, let's look at the latest movement of the Money and Markets Cannabis Index. The index tracks the movement of cannabis stocks with a market cap of more than $1 million and is equal weighted in the past 12 months. The value of the index has fallen about 50.4%, but we have seen slight positive momentum in just the last few days. And I do mean slight. I don't mean, it's not big movement. It is very, very slight. But regardless, cannabis stocks have faced some serious headwinds, especially since November of 2021. Now let's look at IIPR, which, if you're not aware, is a Maryland-based real estate investment trust specializing in sale leasebacks of property to cannabis operators. They basically buy up property and then lease it back to cannabis companies who are looking to expand growing space or retail space or things like that. Now, as you can see, Henry is right. IIPR has dropped about 20.7% from where it was a year ago compared to the broader REIT sector, which is up about 2.8% over the same time. IIPR is down more than 50% from its November 2021 high, as are just about every other cannabis stock out there. But if you overlay the index with the IIPR stock chart, you can see there's a strong parallel movement between the two. IIPR saw a nice bounce up in November 2021 following the index, and then came a drop. The only real difference here is that IIPR did see some sideways trading from late January of 2022 into April of 2022, while the broader index continued to drop. So that's why we see year over year why IIPR is up higher than our cannabis index, because they had that three and a half month period of some sideways trading where they didn't drop nearly as much. Now, something else of interest is when we pull back and look at the 5-year performance of IIPR. Since 2017, the stock has moved up about 792.4% compared to its REIT peers, which are only up about 47% over the same time. So IIPR has maintained a much stronger performance than its fellow REITs. However, now I want to look at the lawsuit that Henry mentioned. The suit contends that IIPR is more of a cannabis lender than an actual REIT, and that the value of properties owned by IIPR is much lower than what the company has let on. It also suggests that IIPR's top customers are in more financial trouble than shareholders have been led to believe, and that those customers may not be able to make lease payments in the future. But I don't really have a huge concern over this lawsuit. First off, these lawsuits are extremely common in the market. You can see any kind of broad-based financial feeds, and you see these lawsuits are filed against companies all the time, and they're more often than not dismissed out of hand before anything really happens in an actual courtroom. However, the suggestion that IIPR is more of a bank and less of a REIT doesn't really pass the sniff test. Remember, REITs are required to generate 75% of their revenue from real estate. As IIPR conducts sale leaseback transactions with cannabis operators, this suggests the claim really doesn't hold a lot of water, because that's where IIPR gets a ton of its business, is through those sale leasebacks. As for the claim of financial challenges of some of its tenants, I did look up the most recent quarterly report that the company released on May 4th. The company reported a 50% increase in total revenue over the prior quarter. It also reported revenues of $64.5 million in Q1 of 2022, so its current financial performance remains very strong. It also indicated year-over-year growth in net income and even its dividend payout. Now, looking ahead at potential revenue growth shows a strong upward trajectory for IIPR. The company reported total revenues of $14.8 million in 2018, but that's expected to rise to $436.1 million by 2024. This all indicates a compound annual growth rate of 45.6% in total revenue, which is extremely strong. So all told, I'm not really concerned over this lawsuit. I see it as more of an inconvenience for shareholders who are going to have to kind of wait through and see what happens than it is an actual reflection of the company or its stock performance. IIPR's downturn is more likely attributed to cannabis and broader market headwinds than over this kind of a lawsuit. I'm still very bullish on the prospects for IIPR, but if you're considering buying the stock, I would wait for more of an uptrend in order to buy high and sell higher. We're really not at that point yet. I want to see a week, 2 weeks of an uptrend before I recommend getting into a stock to buy. And we're just not there yet with IIPR. Essentially, I'm not really sure that we've hit a dip for not just this stock, but for the broader cannabis industry at this point, despite the fact that sales reporting so far in quarterly earnings have been relatively high, or at least somewhat solid in comparison to year over year. Now, thank you, Henry. Again, I appreciate the email exchange, and I love the insight. Love it when I get that. It wasn't necessarily a question, but it was insight, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for sending that my way. That's all for me this week. If you do have a question about a cannabis stock or maybe the broader market, you can email me at feedback@moneyandmarkets.com, or you can comment down below, right down here on our YouTube channel. If you send a question and we use your question in any one of our videos, we are going to send you some free Money and Markets gear like t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, all sorts of good stuff we're going to send out your way. Don't forget about all the great content we have here on our YouTube channel. It is the best investment insight, and it is all yours for free. Follow me on Twitter. I'll give you even more insights, not just into the cannabis market, but into sports, the broader market, all sorts of stuff. You can find me on Twitter at Invest with Matt C. That's Invest with Matt C on Twitter. Thanks to everyone who watches our videos each and every week. We do it because we want to bring you the best insights, not just into cannabis, but into investing, into the economy, and make sure you are armed for portfolio growth now and in the future. Check out moneymarkets.com each and every day for new content that provides safe, sound, smart, simple, profitable investment information for you. And with that, I am Matt Clark, research analyst for Money Markets and host of the Marijuana Market Update. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.